Hey, this is Talking on a Block, and there is a lot going on politically. I mean, I don't even know where, and I say where to begin. Truly, I don't know. But I really like that. I like that. The whole song is cool. Really, I like it. All right. Okay. Let's see. Where do we begin? Michael Bolton. Michael Bolton. Yeah, him. Um, what he did What he did was like, oh, I'm the cool kid on the block now. Yeah, I got information and I want to show it to the world and let them know that I am cool. Cool? I mean, oh my goodness. And when he worked for Trump, he only lasted for a year trying to write a book, get that book out there. And the Trump administration was like, no, no, and then got fired. And then turned around trying to still put it out anyway. So he pled guilty to one count. Actually, it was more than one. It was about 17 or 18 counts of I don't having inappropriate or basically having top secret documents and putting the information in the book to put it out for the world to read. I'm just like, oh man, this guy. He wants to be cool so bad. Man, I'm just I'm just completely shaking my head like there is a lot wrong with this situation. Too much wrong with it. But he went along with it anyway. All right, let me go ahead and just look into it just a tad bit, just a little bit. And here James Comey, he pleads guilty. And poor Pam Bondi, I mean, she was most definitely a team player, and sometimes being a team player don't even help you. But here, the former Trump administration national security advisor, James Bolton, call him Michael Bolton, has agreed to plead guilty to a single count of retaining classified information under the deal with the DOJ that could or would or that could allow him to avoid prison time, and a person familiar with the matter said on Thursday. So, and plus he has to pay or facing a fine of $2.25 million in fines. Oh, but the man has it. Hey, he got several millions of dollars. Oh my goodness. But here, the deal would resolve a criminal case filed in October that charged Bolton with 18 counts of either retaining and disseminating classified information, including a diary-like notes from his time in government that officials say he shared with family members, and he was preparing a memoir about his career. Now that right there is screaming, I want attention. I know I'm past my prime. I got great grandchildren. But I just want to be liked. That's it. I want to be liked. That's all. I want people to think that I'm cool. I'm rambling a little bit, but it's very true. It's very true. You have those people. You have people that have never gotten over a time in their life to where they wanted to shine or have their day in the sun to shine, and it never happened for him. So even though he's in his late 60s, 70s, somewhere around there, he's going to have that day in the sun. And if that means that it's going to, cost him a little bit, then all eyes will be on him. He'll be cool. And people would like him a little bit more instead of looking past him like he's not there. And unfortunately, right there's a thing. That is a thing. So he's dealing with that. He's okay, I'll plead guilty. You see, I'm cool. I'm cool. But that's an unfortunate thing. It is. Now, we're going to go a little deeper. We're going to go a little deeper because this stuff, you got to really stop and think, how, okay. Pete Hegseth, people call Pete Hegseth Trump's lapdog. He's a lackey. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's incompetent. He has never done anything. He served in the military, but he should never have gotten a position or received a position. Many other people were more qualified than him. Okay, you can have your own opinion, and that's exactly what it is, an opinion. Now, people are up in arms because he's saying no transgenders in the military. 0. Now, whether if you're for it or not, now, the ones who are against it is like, nah, no, I'm not having that. I'm not having it at all. You're a Fruit Loop, and you don't need to be in the military because you're mentally unstable. And by you being mentally unstable and extremely emotional, you may cause the United States more harm than good with your emotional instability. That's what some people say. I'm just combining a lot of things together, what people are saying out there. And then those who are against it but slightly for it, they, oh man, people are terrible. Saying, hey, somebody got to take one for the team. If we're out there in battle and we have these transgender or a transgender woman, put them on out there. They're going to be running out there and having the enemy thinking that it's a woman, and then they're going to get a macaroni surprise. You can't make that up. You just really can't. That is so outrageous. And then the transgender men put them on the front line because they're men. I'm a man. Until it comes down to actually doing what you're supposed to do to fulfill that job because you're a man. And they're like, well, no, you can't even pick up a 50-pound bag. No, we don't need 4 women doing that, or even 3 transgender women, or, those transgender men need a couple of them, depending on the height, or whatever it may be. You might get a couple of transgender men that are, tall and plentiful with muscles, right? And have the ability to pick things up and run 50 miles and do whatever. I'm exaggerating a little bit about running 50 miles. But being able to keep up with all the tasks of the other men. Now, the transgender women are going to dominate all the women. But they're like, no, I can't serve because I'm a woman. I can't be on the front line. Pete is going to say, look, since we're being made to keep you, you're going to be on the front line. You're going to be fighting along with the men. And be quiet about it. I mean, it's wild. But he's saying no transgenders at all. 0, none. Zilch. Okay. Everybody has their own opinion, and people are entitled to their own opinion. Now, where's it at? Now, there's another thing that really it's sort of like rubbing me the wrong way. January 6th. Now, Trump is saying that these people need reparations for standing on their beliefs and going to jail. They should get reparations. The fact that this is being thrown around all willy-nilly, right? And people are out there like, yeah, those January 6 people really need reparations. They need it. And then in the same breath saying black Americans do not need reparations, get over it. It's in the past. I didn't do it. People nowadays didn't do it. So just get over it. Now, yeah, black Americans saying, get the hell out of here. Are you really serious in saying that people who went down to exercise their rights for the Constitution that was made for them should get reparations, but people that were put in a subservient position, made to serve, worked for free for generations, and when you had a baby, that baby was also enslaved too, and that should be overlooked because these people here should get reparations because they went to a political rally that went way too far. You don't see, man. And you got a lot of white Americans saying, yeah, they deserve it. They deserve it. A lot of white Americans saying that. And then you have people from, what do you call it? Caribbeans and Africans are saying, yeah, they deserve it. You black Americans, you whine too much. Get over it. You whine. You're a bunch of whiny babies. That happened, over 200 years ago? And that started in the 1600s, and now you're sitting there crying about something that ended in 1876, and there was a whole revolution over it, and you got your freedom. Look, you're free. Get over it. They could have slaughtered you all. I mean, that's what people say. But this right here is something that, Trump is trying to push, having a $1 trillion slush fund for these people right there, who also, in turned around, are suing Nancy Pelosi. So, I mean, just think about that. Now, people who were wrongfully accused going to jail for doing something that they didn't even do. Now, they did what they did. And the interesting part is that those people who were let out from January 6ers, a lot of them went back to jail for committing crimes. And you're like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Your whole argument just tanked. I mean, and it is a complete mess. But when you come to stuff like this, people have a tendency to make excuses and drawing interesting conclusions and how they got to that conclusion, to where you got to do mental gymnastics to come up with that scenario. You have another group of people say, well, Trump made him do it. Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. If Trump made him do it, then he will be able to keep people from backstabbing him and leaking stuff. I mean, again, it's a complete mess with this whole situation. It's a complete mess. But, you got to stop and think. This is right here some real interesting. It's interesting. That's all I'm going to say. It's real interesting. However, let me see. Let me clear this out the way. However, let's get to man, this guy right here. let's go ahead and get to James Comey. James Comey, again, he is also another interesting character. Now, he's the one that was the director of the FBI when Hillary Clinton was running for president. And I suspect that there was, and I'm going to say collusion, between Comey and the Hillary Clinton administration or campaign, to where they threw a whole lot of stuff out there, and he was in the middle of it. So now they tried going after him when Trump got in office the first time. When Biden got in, everything blew away, and now Trump wants another crack at him. He's like, James Comey, oh, that man right there, he's a bad guy. He's a bad guy. And, Comey, and so here, what they're saying is Comey's indictment reveals a desperate DOJ. I don't know. I think that this right here is a political football. They're going back and forth. Whomever's in office. To me, it's all theater. It is. But here, to serve in Donald Trump's cabinet is to perform for an audience of one. And in the week since she was fired by the president, he was fired by the president. Right now, I'm already suspicious of this article already. Salon, okay. It became clear why Pam Bondi runs the Attorney General was a failure. Was it? Was the only failure was for the EpiPen files? And that's a big thing, right? There's a big thing because he had stuff on everyone all around the world, Democrats and Republicans. And for me, they both are dirty. It doesn't matter. But she was unable to convict any of the president's enemies. Todd Blanche, her deputy and temporary at least for now, replaced by taking notes. Okay, so all this drama that's out there, but man, this is bad. This whole thing really is really bad, and it stinks high on a mountain. It does. It stinks high on a mountain. But now this is the one that really, makes me think like, what? This is completely outrageous. Now in New Jersey, or some people say Jersey, depending on where you're from, the Northeast has a way of speaking, or shall I say the 13 original colonies. They're like, Jersey, Jersey. Now in Newark, New Jersey, right next to New York. Now they're saying that they're targeting prison companies for running immigration detention center in a lawsuit over conditions. Now let's stop. Let's stop right here. Just stop right here. Now, prisons have been not non-profit, but for-profit for a while. And they need people in those jails. They need people in those jails, in the beds. They just extended this right here to illegal immigrants. Now, come on. Oh, this right here is so crazy. Now, you come here illegally. You just don't even bother following the rules. Just going to jump in here, run across the water. Not run on top of the water, but you know what I mean. Run across the water, come here, can't speak the language majority of the time. And then don't bring any degrees. And a lot of these people are unskilled labor. So you got unskilled laborers fighting for jobs with teenagers. And they try to raise children in poverty. They switched poverty from where they were from. They were impoverished, but they come to the United States and still in poverty, but claim, man, this is so crazy. It's crazy. Now you have families saying, "Oh my God, my dad's in jail and he's being deported. What is my mom going to do?" Okay, I'm not trying to sound insensitive because what they're doing right here is it's a logic thing. Appeal to pity. You pull on people's emotions, and that right there is a horrible thing to do. To take your plight when you don't have any clean hands at all, zero clean hands, but you want to remove your dirty hands and have people forget about the dirty hands that you have, but you want to misdirect to other people that are simply saying, follow the rules. Let me give you an example. Peter Pan. Peter Pan. Everybody hates Captain Hook. Everybody loves Peter Pan. Peter Pan was over there getting the kids to go to Never Never Land, but Captain Hook was trying to save the children from Peter Pan, and everybody hated Captain Hook. Growing up, I hated Captain Hook. Looking back on it, man, what a mind flip. Now when you look at this, you got these politicians. Now, you got to be very careful about these politicians because a lot of people are immigrants to the United States, whether if you have been here for, since the inception of the country and you have several generations in, maybe 10 generations, or you might be a second generation immigrant, a first generation immigrant to where your heart still lies from where your parents are from, and right there is your first people that you're going to protect. Not America, not Americans. Forget about that. Open the border and allow everybody in to get a piece of the pie without even trying to do anything with the country that you're from. No, that makes too much sense. Well, Delaney Hall, right here, has led to violent clashes, and this right here is with the protesters. Arrested in implementation of the protest zone and a curfew. Now, I'm going to say something. How can I say this? No matter how I say it, it's going to sound bad. So I'm just going to say it. Many of the immigrants are classified as white. Well, were classified as white. Now they're no longer classified as white. And Trump's like, look, you're not white. Get out. You broke into the country. You didn't even bother knocking on the door. You didn't even bother filling out anything. We can't even fact check you, vet you. You expect us to take your word for it, and we don't even know who you are. You don't even come here with any credentials, but we are supposed to basically accept your word for it. Only you. Just you. And then we're supposed to pity you and give you all free stuff. Now, when you come from a country, especially a socialist country, communist country, your mindset is the government gives you everything. Everything you get from the government. You don't have any skin in the game. So you come to a country to where you want the same getup. You want the same deal. Take care of me, and I don't want to put any skin in the game. But Americans are supposed to take care of you, do all these things for you, because you come from a country that is still developing. Well, your country's still developing because you have a whole lot of people who did not put skin in the game. And then you have people who suggest, oh, well, my country's corrupt. Get the hell out of here. Every country's corrupt. If you have something called a government, that is corruption. Now, what level of corruption do you want? Do you want people who just get free stuff from the government and have other governments taking care of the government? They're paving the roads. They're doing other countries are doing all the infrastructure, and your people don't. And then they get dissatisfied because they don't get the money that they feel that they should have because they never bother going to school. They never bother telling the government, hey, make better universities, do this, do that. No. That government's going to eliminate me. It's going to K-I-L-L me. So, I need you to take care of me, all 50 members of my family, and my friends to come over here so that we can work. And we're going to compete for jobs with teenagers because we need America to build up skills so that we can have to be skilled labor. Now, I said all of that to point at this. You have family members who were saying, well, my dad was caught at Home Depot doing day labor work. Now, if you say, oh my goodness, goodness. What do we do with that? You're xenophobic. No, not xenophobic. No. It's just that you're not raising the bar. You want to maintain. Okay, all right. Barbara Jordan, a Democrat, back in the 80s, the Democrats lifted her up to do a study on immigrants. All across the board, from Africa to Asia to Latin America, the Caribbean, and even certain places in Europe, right? And in her study, she discovered that the immigrants that come here that are unskilled will maintain a certain level within this country. And a lot of people keep their culture. They leave their culture and they come to another culture and they maintain the culture that they came from to say, oh, well, this is my culture and, I will do well in the United States. Well, she said, no, they are going to maintain a certain level in the United States, and it's not going to be middle class. And you might have a few that actually get it to become middle class. Maybe a few will become rich, but most of the people are going to stay poor, and they are not going to seek out an education. A lot of them don't. Many of them don't. A few do. And those few will occupy certain areas. Some may become doctors, lawyers. You see it on TV all the time. But they are the outlier. They are not the norm. Okay? So they're saying, well, tear this down and let the let the people that are in this immigration jail go, because they had their court date. Some people would say, well, my dad was illegal for 30 years. He's been here for 30 years. Don't deport him. Don't. But are you just simply suggesting that, okay, whatever he did, he came here illegally, which is a crime. Now, it may not be, eliminating 47 people, all this other stuff. It may not be anything severe. But however, small crimes matter too. And when you have people are like, well, you can go get a job over there. Well, we need to start looking at the employers. Sanctioning the employers, put a few employers in jail, scare the heck out of everybody. All this right here would stop. And then you won't have people coming here illegally, having families. This is crazy. Having families. And then the children of two illegal immigrants, or one has a green card and the other one is illegal, having a family, and then the child really suffers because the child really doesn't have any legal recourse, what you're trying to really do. And then you have those who come here with their child, and the poor child has that is so horrible. The parents do, and like, to me, it is a height of selfishness The parents say, I don't want to be here, but I want my child to have a better life, so I'm going to do whatever I can do. Now, these children are over there at the jail. I need to see my dad. Release my dad. You're racist, and you black Americans, you ain't nothing. These YT people are horrible, and now you're siding with them because you're not out there protesting to save my dad who's been illegal here for 30 years. I mean, it gets crazy. It gets crazy. It gets really crazy. And then, when you say, hey, well, check this out. You're talking about privatizing prisons, and this right here is harming illegal immigrants. Well, check this out. Private prisons in the United States. This been happening to U.S. Citizens. Oh, my goodness. I think they started doing this in the late 80s. And they started out in California. And they put a whole lot of black folks in these jails, right? So now you got 27 states. This right here was 2 years ago. And 27 states and the federal government incarcerated 90,873 people in private prisons in 2020, representing 8% of the total state and federal prison population. Now, private for-profit prisons incarcerated 90,000 people, American residents. And I'm pretty sure they're over there getting people that are illegal and people that have green cards and have committed some kind of criminal act to where they're going to lose their green card, or people who are even citizens. And there are certain crimes you can't commit because when you commit them, then you're going to lose your naturalized status, then fall down to an illegal, or basically an illegal immigrant, and then they're going to deport you, right? However, look right here, as I said, harmful crime policies of the 1980s and beyond fueled the rapid expansion of the nation's prison population. The resultant burden on the public sector led to the modern emergence of for-profit prisons in many states and the federal system of 1.2 million people in federal jails, 8%, or 98,873 people were in private prisons in the year 2022. So, when you hear these people saying, oh my goodness, they're for profit and they're making, blah, 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 they started with Americans. Now, you chose to come here illegally. And the Democrats are no longer going to save you. And they can't save you because what they're doing is no longer feasible for them. It just simply isn't. The Democrats' day in the sun is basically over. And now Americans are tired, really tired, of all the stuff that's going on. And they're like, look, our politicians don't give a damn about the American population. They don't. They're over there looking at these illegal immigrants, and you have politicians that either hold a citizenship, some even hold a green card, and they hold office. Maybe not federal office, but local office, to where they're like, let's push for residents, people that hold green cards, to have them the right to vote. Y'all are stomping all over the Constitution. You have all this chutzpah over here, but you don't have the chutzpah in your country. I mean, you basically can't respect people who do that. You can't. Because they're not here to develop anything but accept what would help them. That's just a thought. But Trump is having issues with January 6th. Comey is indicted, and he's having issues. John Bolton is having issues. I mean, it's just going down the gamut. But let me ask you, real quick. What do you think about all this? Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And please share. I'm trying to grow my channel to 1,000. Please help me do it.